Okay, Paul, thank you very much for the intro and welcome everyone. I hope you had a lovely Easter, a nice break. And so did we. Of course, we missed you because we didn't have a meeting, I think, just during Easter and a little bit before. But as always, our business is a portable business. You do your business wherever you are. So it's our pleasure this evening to once again resume our Thursday evening training and welcome from whatever part of the world you're listening to us from. We hope that the month of April is going on very well. And I hope that this evening's training is going to push you even further in the direction of the goals which you want to achieve. As you might have seen from your invitation, my session today is about skin and personal care. So just to clarify, I'll not be speaking about nutrients, which is our cosmetic range that is specifically for facial and neck skin. I'll be speaking about the rest of the skincare, so the non-facial skincare products. And of course, we know that our skin is the largest organ in our bodies. It covers the whole of our bodies and has got important functions that I'm going to mention. So being the largest organ of our body, of course, it has got needs which it's important to meet, and it has got functions which it should perform as well as possible and as required. So the first thing to say is that our skin is our first line of defense against anything harmful in our environment. And for that reason, we value it because whatever touches us will first touch our skin. Then the other function of the skin that I want to mention is that it helps us to get rid of waste material from within our bodies. For example, through sweat, especially. And the third thing is that, of course, our skins form part of our identity through its appearance. So the first thing that is seen on us is usually parts of our skin. Of course, since we wear clothes, our skin is not visible all over. But a good part of our identity is going to be from the appearance of our skin. And as we say, as Neolife distributors, we are the advertisement of our business. A prospect to our business will first see us. And when they see us, we give them an idea of what Neolife actually is. So to those of us who are new distributors who have recently joined us and maybe are having the first one or two training, just to say that we are the advertisement for our business. Therefore, our appearance plays as important a role as the show window in a shop does, because your prospect is going to see you. And for that reason, we consider our first impression and all the impressions that we give quite crucial for our business and its success. Then the other thing I wanted to mention before I move to the next section is that our skin is actually continuous with our gut. So if you can, as you can see my mouth moving, the skin on my lips goes on inwards and becomes my mouth, and then it becomes my throat and eventually my intestine. So the skin on the outside is continuous with the skin that forms, with the tissue that forms our gut. And for that reason, if we take something into our digestive system, it can easily affect our skin, the surface of our body. And what we put on the surface of our body can also affect the insides of our body. So it's an interesting relationship. And we'll mention, if I get a moment to reach to some of the questions, we may find that some of the skin problems that we have can originate from our diet. Then the next thing I wanted to mention is some of the factors that determine the condition of our skin. And the first thing is, of course, the overall health of our body, as well as whether we are adequately hydrated. We know that at least 65% of our body is actually water. And that means that we need to make sure that we are always replenishing the water that is lost from our bodies. And that is what we mean by hydration. So drinking water is part of healthy habits and enhances the overall health of our body because of other factors, but also because it keeps our skin well hydrated. And since I mentioned before that some of the waste material from our body is carried out through our skin as sweat, the hydration of our skin makes it possible for us to produce the sweat that is needed. Sweat is not a bad thing. It is a natural part of our functions. In fact, sweat does not smell bad when it is first produced. It starts smelling bad if it is not cleaned off and allowed to stay on the skin. So that is why, for instance, if you go for a jog and you come back, you don't immediately start smelling. But if you don't shower and stay for a while, then bacteria on the skin starts feeding on our sweat and the waste material in our sweat, and that is what causes the smell. So sweating is not a bad thing. It's part of the work that our skin does for our bodies. Then the next thing after health and hydration, as the things that that affect the condition of our skin, the next one is effective cleansing, as I was saying just now. So we see that the skin deals with the toxins from two sides. The toxins that might be in the external environment, that is outside our bodies, and the toxic waste that is produced within our bodies that comes out through our skins. So for that reason, the skin is working very hard, both to deal with the internal things as well as the external things. And since for instance, our environment may be having things in it that deposit themselves on our skin, cleansing the skin is very important, and we should pay good attention to it. Then the third thing is that our skin needs protection from damage. Since we have seen that it is our first defense against the environment, of course, it can be vulnerable to damage. And for that reason, we need to think about what we are exposing ourselves to. So we can have harsh environmental factors such as wind and sun and toxins in the environment such as smoke and soot and dust and things like that. Also, there can be physical injury as a result of us bumping against something. And also foods that we eat can also damage our skin. As I've said, some of them can make us have skin reactions because they do not agree with us. And we can also have things in our cleaning material, what we use to cleanse our skins, and the skincare products that we use can also actually damage our skins. And quite a number of customers that I've come across over the years who use our skincare products come because they have used other products and have had bad reactions that have damaged their skin. And I'm sure many of you who have been in the business for a while know that this is one of the reasons why people come to us for our products, because they have tried other products and ended up with damage. So we need to protect our skin from damage, whether it is from the harsh environmental factors, from toxins in the environment, from injury, as well as from harmful cleansing materials and oiling materials, and from food that might be damaging to us. Then the next point I wanted to make is that we need to give our bodies adequate provisions for self-healing, because the body, as we know, is able to heal itself in most situations, but it requires certain nutrients in order to do this. So the skin depends on our diet to provide it with what it needs to heal itself. And then the last thing I want to mention in this section is that certain things that we do can also lead to, can undermine the health of our skin. So for instance, something like stress, if we've got a very stressful job or a stress-filled lifestyle, then the result can be seen also on the condition of our skin. It can speed up the aging of our skin, and it can also cause our skin to erupt in pimples and rashes and so on. Then the other thing that can undermine the health of our skin is cigarette smoking. because the residues from smoking deposit on the surface of our skin, especially the facial and neck skin. But also, of course, our body needs to get rid of the toxins that comes in with the cigarette smoke. And some of these can actually affect the health of our skin. Certain illnesses, of course, and medication can also undermine the health of our skin, because we know that some, for instance, if you have chemotherapy, it can lead to fallout of hair. Some medicines can cause skin reactions and so on. So all these are factors that can affect the condition of our skin. And so we should make a point of understanding that our skin is part of our bodies, and what goes on in our bodies is actually going to be what determines the condition of our skin. Then moving on, we notice obviously that our skin is not uniform all over the body. We have different types of skin on different parts of our body. So for example, the facial and neck skin is very thin and delicate. It's easily injured. So that is why Neolife has got a separate range that deals specifically with the facial and neck skin. So that is the nutrients organic range. And then the skin on our scalp, we know, has got hair. And so it requires specific cleansing, because the hair can trap materials from the atmosphere, and it can also trap sweat and dirt. So it requires specific type of cleaning. Then the soles of our feet, the palms of our hands, have got tougher, rougher skin, which is different from the skin on the rest of our bodies. So for that reason, we notice that since our skin is not uniform all over, we find that Neolife provides different products for taking care of different parts of our skin. So then moving on to the personal care range of Neolife, I want to mention the products that we use for cleaning our bodies. And the first one is shower gel. It's a very lovely gel, which is very mild. It can be used as a bubble bath. It can be used for showering. It is a very nice experience. It smells good and does an excellent job of cleansing and gives a feeling of luxury. When you want to give yourself a treat, maybe after a tough week and you want to relax a bit, shower gel is a nice treat for us. Apart from being able to thoroughly clean our bodies, it is also a treat in terms of how it smells and how it leaves our skin feeling fresh and clean and fragrant. Then we have the personal care concentrate. This is the everyday cleanser that we use. It's also for the whole body. It's pH balanced, and it can be used for the whole family. It is mild and does also an excellent job. It is not a luxury cleanser, this one. It is more like your everyday one, and also a very good one. It can also be used for cleaning very delicate fabrics that you maybe do not want to use harsh soaps on. You can use PCC. And then the third cleanser is for our hair. That is the shampoo. We have got two types of hair shampoo. We've got the rich shampoo, which deep cleanses hair without stripping it, and it is suited for hair that tends to be oily. Just like our skin, our facial skin, we know that we have either oily skins or dry skin. Our scalps tend to be the same. Some people have got oily scalps and oily hair. Some people have got dry scalp and hair that tends to be dry. So the rich shampoo is targeting people who tend to have oily hair that needs thorough cleansing, so that the excess oil does not accumulate in the hair, especially if the hair is long. And then we have the mild shampoo, which is formulated for sensitive scalps and hair that tends to be dry and easily gets damaged. So this one is a gentler cleansing shampoo that will be more suitable to people whose hair are dry and tend to need extra oil rather than tend to have more oil. Then from the cleansing step, the next thing we usually do with the skin is, after cleansing, we need to restore and retain moisture. So the first one is for hair. We have the hair conditioner. which is formulated for moisturizing, restoring moisture on the hair after shampooing, and also keeping it conditioned so that it is easy to style and not prone to dryness. Although I find that most of us from African origins, we may find that after using the conditioner, our hairs, the nature of our hair, which is very curly, tends to be very dry. So we may still need to use other means of conditioning it so that it is properly conditioned. The hair conditioner, the Neolife hair conditioner by itself might not be adequate for all of our African hair. So if you find that after using the hair conditioner, your hair still feels dry, then you can add other emollients or conditioners that are heavier. Okay, then the next product I want to mention in this group is Body Love, which is a bath oil, with a perfumed bath oil that is formulated to retain moisture in the skin. You can use it during a bath or after showering to prevent dryness of skin. It is especially useful for us in Southern Africa and other countries in Southern Africa and in the Southern Hemisphere. We are going into the winter months, which tend to be quite dry. And if you have a dry skin, you may find that Body Love is very useful for keeping the skin from drying out during these cooler months. Or if you live in a very hot, dry part of our continent, then you may find that Body Love helps in keeping the skin moisturized because it traps the moisture within the skin after showering or bathing. So that's Body Love. Then we have Aloe Vera Gel, which is our multi-purpose gel that can be used as a first aid gel for minor skin injuries and irritations. And it can also be used for people who have got oily skin. They may find that they like aloe vera gel because it is moisturizing but not oily. It is helpful for certain skin conditions like acne and rashes as well. So that is aloe vera gel, one of my favorite products that I use every day because I find it very useful for my skincare regimen. Then the hand and body lotion from our skincare range. This one also is formulated to work together with our cleansers. It complements our skin's natural acidity and helps to add moisture to the skin after we have showered. We should apply it immediately after showering when the skin is still damp so that it enhances the moisturizing effect and protects our skin from getting dry. So from there, I wanted to quickly mention what the Neolife difference is, because I know that when we are out in the field, people will ask that why should I buy your products? And I wanted to point out a few points in this section by saying that the first and most important ingredient in all skincare, most of our skincare products, is the water that is used in them. So the lotion has got water as its biggest ingredient. The shampoos and all this, they are water-based. And the quality of the water used is important. So Neolife starts taking care from right at the point of the water that is used in making our personal care products. So if you can imagine that we are talking about the toxins in our environment, if we are using water which is not so pure, then already the skincare product that we are using starts as a problem. So Neolife starts from the quality of the water that is used in the manufacturing process for our personal care products. Then some of the common ingredients that you'll find in one or more of them in our personal care range are, number one, aloe vera, which we know is a natural substance that is well known and well researched as useful for skincare. It is rich with many skin enhancing ingredients. For example, it contains the enzymes from the aloe plant. It contains vitamins as well as antioxidants from that plant, which grows in dry, arid areas and has been used for centuries for resolving skin inflammation, as well as assisting and initiating the healing process on our skin. So aloe vera will be found in our lotion. It will be found in as aloe vera gel. And you will see that many products that are for skincare contain aloe vera. And then the other one that we have in a number of our products is provitamin B5 and glycerin. So these products are hygroscopic. What they do is that they attract moisture to the skin, preventing us from losing the moisture which is already in our skin, and also drawing moisture from our environment to our skin to prevent the skin from drying out. So they play this very important role, and that is why we find them in our moisturizing products. And then the last one is refined mineral oil and coconut oil. These are oils that are in our products in order to form a barrier on the skin to prevent the loss of moisture from the skin. So something like Body Love that I mentioned a moment ago is going to form a barrier. It does not bring moisture itself. What it does is that it forms a barrier so that the moisture in your skin does not escape and leave your skin dry. So that is what the oils do. And I see I have just a few minutes left. So I got some questions that are related to the skin. And the first one is eczema. Someone wanted to know what to use for eczema. So eczema is related to, it can be related to certain foods that trigger it, cause the skin to get rashy, and when it is crushed, it becomes dry and scaly. And the first thing to do is try to identify if there's a food that is triggering the eczema. It could also be allergic reactions. So the products that we recommend for that is vitamin A plus D, chelated zinc, as well as aloe vera gel to apply. And if there's a trigger food that is causing a problem, we can also add acidophilus if you have it in your market. As usual, if you do not have acidophilus, we recommend that you use fiber tablets and you use your traditional fermented food. The fermented foods usually have the friendly bacteria in them, and that is why culturally, every culture has got a kind of fermented food that is part of the diet. So you can add that. And we can look forward to when the Neolife is able to have acidophilus in all the markets in Africa. Then one other question that I had was about recurrent athlete's feet. This is the fungal infection that affects feet and cause them to itch and smell bad. So this one is, it can be an infection that comes if you use public bathrooms. Let's say you are a sports person or children going to school and a boarding school and they use the bathrooms and so on. It can be picked up in public bathrooms, but it also tends to be a sign of pre-diabetes, because when we are not metabolizing sugar well, we find that we get fungal overgrowth, and these fungal overgrowths can make us tend to be affected by fungal infections such as athlete's feet. And what we recommend for it is that cleaning the feet with care solution, and then we can use acidophilus and the usual fiber tablets and fermented foods. And then we can also add botanical balance to help with the sugar metabolism. Okay, so then the last one that has to do with the skincare, someone wanted to know about alopecia, which is this, the hair loss or hair not growing in certain places like the hairline. This can be related to the hairstyles that we choose. And if the alopecia is along the hairline, it can be as a result of having very tightly pulled back hair. The person who asked the question was a woman. So for example, a tight ponytail can cause the hairline to reduce. Also, use of many chemicals such as for straightening hair can kill the hair follicles in the hair. That is that the chemical actually kills the cells that grow hair and leads to lack of hair growth. So some hair dyes also, some people are allergic to certain hair dyes. So those can be the reasons for alopecia. It can also be hormonal. So all these can be the reason for the alopecia. And for that reason, it is good to examine their lifestyle and the things that we do to see if they could be the reason for the alopecia. And meanwhile, we can use the supplements such as vitamin B complex, which play an important role in the health of our hair and skin. And also we can add Neolife shake to give ourselves adequate good quality proteins as a protein supplement together with vitamin A plus D. And if the alopecia is due to hormonal imbalances, then herbal feminine complex, in the case of this lady who had this question, can be useful in balancing out the hormones. Okay, I see that my time is up. I hope that the session was useful to you, and I want to thank you very much for spending this time with us and for the attention that you have given me. I wish you all the best for the remainder of the month of April as we are moving towards the last week of it. And now Pascal is here, quite ready for the next part of our presentation. And I want to wish you all the best and look forward to seeing you again in the next session on Thursday. Thank you very much and all the best.
Thank you very much, Betty. And I must say also, we've missed interacting with you for the last 2 weeks, Thursday last week and Monday. And we are also aware that some people started the business maybe in the month of February or the month of March, so they're new in the business. So in this session, we want to talk about the basics of the business. Going back to the basics, I was reading an article about one of the top golfers in the world on when his game drops, he goes back to the basics of how he plays golf. Tiger Woods has had a very challenging, he was at the top of the world at one point, he was the best golfer in the world. Then he had challenges, he had an accident. I read an article last week that every single day he has been playing golf to get back his game back to the level it was. And one of the things he concentrates on is the basics of how he plays golf. So in this session, I want to share with you the basics of our business. Whether you've been in the business for 2 days, 2 months, 2 years, or 20 years, all of us have to do the basics of the business to make our business grow. And the basics of our business is taking part in what is called the income producing activities. Now, if you give me a moment, I want to share the screen with you. Okay, let me share the different screen. Just one moment. Okay, that's the wrong one. My apologies. Okay, this is the right one. So, what are the basics of our business? What are the main things that we do in our business? We call them the main things. We have to make the main things of our activity. How do we grow our business? We grow our business by doing 3 basic things. You normally notice that in the presentation, we said the basics of business are doing 3 things. 1 is using the products. The second is sharing the products and sharing the business. And third is personal development. Personal development simply means we spend time to build ourselves as people or as business people. Now, let me talk about the basics of the business in 2 things mainly that causes our business to grow. Apart from using the products ourselves, we need to retail products because retailing products is what actually makes our business, or Neolife pays us when we move products from Neolife to different users, either ourselves or our customers. So the first step of the basics of our business is using and retailing products. That is the first basics we do. And we need to do that over and over again until it becomes a habit, because success is achieved when what we do every day becomes a habit. All right, so retailing products. How do we retail products? We retail products when we pay attention to the following things. Number one is we need to have product knowledge. I think Betty did a very good session on the personal and skincare products. And the reason why this is important is that when we know what the products do, it's very easy to recommend products to our friends and our relatives. I remember about last week, one of the prospects of our distributors had an operation, and it was taking quite a long time for the wounds to start healing. So as we spoke, she told me what her situation is. So I suggested, maybe you can try multimineral and alfalfa because it helps to speed the healing process. And the next day, I gave her multimineral and asked her to use. And after 4 or 5 days, I called her and she says she's actually feeling much better than she had been feeling before she started using the product. So it's very important for us to have product knowledge, and that leads us to step number 2 is listening to our customers. It's important to ask customers questions how their life is and how things are, because when you listen to what they are going through, it will give you an opportunity to recommend the products. Okay, so listen to customers. What are they going through in terms of their health, in terms of their lifestyle, in terms of are they undergoing stress? That will give you an indication on what products to recommend. And if you know what the products do, it becomes very important to recommend the products to them. And that leads to keeping in touch with your customers. One of my customers has been going through a very difficult time, I think. He has had cancer, and we recommended for them to use phytodefense. And out of that, we've had regular contact with the customer. We spoke every week, every 2 weeks, and today he called and surprised me with said, "Look, I am very happy with the products you sent to me, and it's really made things quite easier for me, and I'm able to see at least something in changing in my health." So it's very important to keep in touch with your customers. Put a reminder on your phone, put it on your diary so that you keep in touch with your customer. And the last part of retailing products is get to know your customers. When is their birthday? When is their anniversaries? If you have this information, it gives you a reason to get in touch with your customer. And when your customer wants to spend money, guess who they'll be talking about? They'll be thinking about. They'll be thinking about you. So it's important that if you want to retail products, think about 4 items, four things that will help you retail more products. 1 is having product knowledge. Number 2 is listening to your customers. Number 3 is keeping in touch with them. And number 4, getting to know who your customer is. The next thing that causes our business to grow, and which is part of the basics, is recruiting. That is introducing people to the business. This is actually the key of business growth. We say that the lifeblood of our business is new blood, getting new people into the business. How do we recruit people in the business? How do we sponsor people in the business? We sponsor the people in the business by doing the following things. The first step is building a list, because this is the most important resource you need to grow your business. Name list of prospects. Okay, there's a difference between prospects and suspects. Suspects is anybody that you think can do the business. A prospect is somebody you qualify. Qualifying means what? Qualifying means you ask them a question that will either give you an indication whether they're a good prospect for the business. For example, after you've known the person, you may ask a question. By the way, are you open to look at a way to generate more income? Or have you thought about doing a part-time business to help you bridge your budget gap? That is a qualifying question, and the qualifying question helps you to assess whether he's a prospect or a suspect. Okay, and that leads you to the next thing is preparation on how to invite. Two things, posture and confidence. Preparation simply means you need to know how to invite your prospect correctly. And this comes from practice. One of the key things about becoming successful is practicing how to invite. It may appear easy that, look, I don't have to practice to invite, but it's actually a skill you need to develop. You need to learn how to invite correctly. Let me say you meet somebody you're queuing in the bank, or you're in a taxi or a matatu, or you're in an Uber, or wherever you are, you exchange information with somebody, and before you leave, you exchange your contacts. Either the same day or the next day, you call the person and say, John, we met at the bank the other day, and I've got a question for you. Have you thought about starting a business to generate additional income? Okay, you're asking that question so that the person's interest can be piqued. If they say yes, they said, okay, I'm going to send you some information for you to have a look at, then you can discuss further. Some prospects will ask you, what is it? It's important to make sure that you actually give them ample information so that they make an educated decision. Say, I cannot explain it now over the phone, but I've got some material that I'd like to share with you. That gives you a chance to sit with them one-on-one. Or if they want more, you say, look, I don't have time now. I will send you a link to attend one of our business presentations. Somebody more experienced is going to show you how our business works. Okay? So inviting correctly simply means you need to know what to say, how to say it, and when to say it. If you're sending your prospect a video, say the prospect wants more information, Neolife has a fantastic 2 minutes and 38-second video. Just tell them, look, I want to send you a video to have a look at. If I send it to you now, will you create the time to watch it today so that we can follow up? You ask that question so that they can commit themselves to a time to spend 3 minutes watching that video. Okay, so when you ask them, if I send you the video now, will you create the time to watch it? They say yes. They say, okay, so if I call you tomorrow at 10, you'll have watched the video. They will say yes or no. Then you say, okay, so tomorrow I'll call you at 10 so that we can pick up the discussion. What you have done, you have asked the prospects to say yes 2 or 3 times. Because we are creatures of habit, if a person says yes 3 or 4 times, they're likely to follow up on why, if they say yes. Okay? Now, when you meet with the prospects, the 2 important things are important and are relevant for the one-on-one presentation. Number 1, tell your story. There is nothing as powerful as telling your story. And your story should not take more than 2 to 3 minutes. Okay. For example, if it's me, I said, oh, by the way, John, we met last week at the bank, and I'd like to share some information with you. But first, let me tell you what the business has done for me. I'm trained as a civil engineer, but somewhere along the line, I realized that having a job is not sufficient. Because from my profession, if my company gets a project in Cape Town and I'm in Pretoria, I go where the project is. Otherwise, my employer can terminate my services. So I saw a way to generate more income, and I thought that even if I earned an extra $200, it would make a difference. But after working 7 months part-time, I equaled my salary. That's when I took the business seriously. So that's the information I'd like to share with you. You see, my story takes 2 to 3 minutes because I've said it many times. There are 4 parts of telling a story. The first part is what you're doing before you join the business. The second part is how you came to join the business. The third part is what the business has done for you and how the future looks like. That is the 4 aspects of telling your story. After you've shown them the business, important thing is follow up and close up. There's a saying in our business that the fortune is in the follow up. The average person makes a decision after they've seen something between 5 to 7 times. So if a person says no the first 2 or 3 times, don't give up. Follow the map with a question. Okay, maybe you don't have the information now, or you want time to think about it. Can I call you in 2 days' time so that we follow up on the discussion? Always follow up a prospect who hasn't made a decision either 5 to 7 times, because the average person has had the word no so many times that saying no to them is almost an automatic process, and you need to follow up 5 to 7 times before an average person says, yes, I'd like to do the business. That is a recruiting process. The other thing you need to think about is, in these all activities, always make sure that you get involved on a daily basis in income-producing activities. Income-producing activities simply means the things you do to grow your business. Talking to people, either they're a customer or they're a prospect. Those are the two most important income-producing activities that grows our business. But you need to back that up with personal development. Personal development simply means you take time to improve yourself as a person. And that leads me to something called persistence. Persistence is one of the keys to success in anything. I don't know any person who has been successful in anything they do if they don't have a persistent attitude. Two things are important for success in business: persistence and defining your goals clearly. Persistence is a thing that will help you become successful in the business. 5 things I want to recommend to you to develop persistence. The first one is you need to have a definite goal. What is it that you want to achieve? If you want to earn money in the business, how much money do you want to earn? It's not enough to say, I want to earn a lot of money. How much is that a lot of money? You see, for some people, $300 can make the difference between living and dying. But maybe you're more ambitious. Your goal is to earn $3,000 a month or $10,000 a month. The thing is, you need to have a definite goal. Write it down clearly. A goal is something you want to achieve with a specific date on it. For example, you started a business in March. Your goal is to earn $1,000 in 12 months' time. Write it down. Put a date on it. The second thing that helps you to develop persistence is intense desire. This is something nobody can do for you. You have to develop it from the inside your heart. An intense desire is a very definite passion you develop in your heart for the goals that you want to achieve. Somebody who has an intense desire, if you meet them, you will know. Somebody who is got a wishy-washy desire, if you meet them, you'll also know this person is not going anywhere. So you need to develop an intense desire. How do you do it? Have very clear goals and read them every single day. Number 3, you need to have definite plans. Definite plans simply mean you have a series of activities that you do every single day that leads you to your goal. Okay? You need to have a plan. Have a plan and plan your work and work your plan. Simply means, what are the things you're going to do every day to grow your business? Number 4 is to visualize. I cannot overemphasize visualization. Visualization simply means creating mental pictures of the things that you want to achieve. Worry is when you create mental pictures of the things that you do not want. That is what a worry is. That is what causes stress. What causes a stress is when you create mental pictures of the things we actually don't want. You need to learn how to visualize the things that you actually do want and make it a daily habit. The 5th thing that helps you to develop persistence is willpower. Willpower simply means that you create mental picture and you hold that thing in your mind on a continuous, consistent basis. Willpower simply means that you do the things you need to do even when you don't feel like. Willpower helps us to develop discipline. And the more you develop discipline, it becomes a habit. And habits, we create our habits, and our habits create our future. A habit is something you do over and over and over again until it becomes automatic. For example, walking. Walking is a habit. You do it without thinking about. Okay? Driving is a habit. Reading is a habit. The habits that you create now are the habits that will create your future. If you want to know your future, check your daily habits. In fact, I would recommend to you, do a time audit. In the next 2 days, write down everything you do within every hour without examining what they are. If you do that, after 2 days, you will know whether you're going to be successful or not. Because how you use your time determines how successful you're going to become. Okay? One of my favorite leaders around the world is a man called Peter J. Daniels. He's an Australian, and at the age of 26, he was an illiterate bricklayer. By the age of 47, he's one of the largest private employers in Australia. And I was listening to his personal story, and he was saying when he was 5 years old, the first time he watched a motion picture, he went to a local hall, and he sat in front and he saw a motion picture for the very first time. He didn't have shoes nor socks. He had a splinter in his feet, and he was fascinated with the motion picture. And in that motion picture, there were people galloping in horses. He actually thought the horses were going to come out of the movie and trample him. And he hid under the chairs. Then he came out, and he was completely mesmerized by a motion picture. And he remembered a song that one of the actors in that movie was called Nelson Eddy. And Nelson Eddy was singing a song that says this: Give me 10 stout men with a desire and a burning passion, and I will give you 10,000 people. And what I'd like to leave with you is this. Think about, are you among the 10 people? You need to say yourself, give me 10 people, men and women, who have got courage in their hearts, who are disciplined and have got dreams. If you get 10 serious people in your business, you're a diamond director, because those 10 people will bring another 100 people, and those 100 will bring another 1,000, and those 1,000 will become 10,000. Think about where you want to be. Where do you want to be in 2 years? Where do you want to be in 5 years? Are you one of the 10 serious people who want to make a difference in the business or in society? How many people can you say you're going to change their life in the next 2 years? If you share this business with 3 to 4 people every single day, you're going to change the life of so many people, because those people you speak to are going to speak to others, and those others are going to speak to, and eventually you'll grow a very large business because you had the courage to speak to new people. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for spending this evening with us. I want to appreciate Paul for hosting our meeting, and all the distributors who attended the meeting today. I wish you the very best. Today is the 21st of April. We still have I think we have still 2 weeks of hard work to meet our targets for the month of April. So, Paul, I want to hand over back to you to close our meeting. Thank you so much, everybody, and God bless you.
Wow, thank you so much, Pascal, for such an amazing session together with Betty. It's quite a great session that you have been able to share with us. And I'm sure the distributors on the call today, you have been able to benefit in one way or the other. The session for Pascal, it's very beneficial to all distributors, and especially people who have just joined the business, maybe in the last 1, 2, 3 months. It's a very educative session for the things that you need to be able to do so that you can be able to build your business. So thank you, Pascal. Thank you, everyone who was on the call. At one point, we have over 300 people on the call. And I know this information will be able to help us to continue to grow our business and build our dreams across where we are. So we are coming to the end of the meeting. Pascal has been able to share about month end. We're going to share the month end calendar so that you can be able to continue to share with your team, and we'll look at your goals, see where you are, and then you can be able to see where you need to push so that you can continue to build your business. So a weekend is approaching. I know we have some physical meetings in across East African countries. Please look out. If you're in Uganda, look out at the meetings that are happening in Uganda over the weekend. If you're in Kenya, do the same. I know we have meetings coming in Nakuru, and we also have our president team member Judy going to Mombasa. If you're in Tanzania, I know we have some big meetings which are happening in the side of Kigoma and Virus. Just look at those meetings. They've been able to be put together for you so that you can reach out as many people as possible as you share the opportunity. So we want to thank you so much for finding time to be able to join us on this call today. Tomorrow we are going to have our Swahili business presentation for the benefit of guests, those who can be able to understand Swahili. Please make sure you bring them in on the same link. We are going to have our 3 Ruby director, Usna Mkupete. She's going to be our guest speaker tomorrow. So please don't miss that session to come and meet a young person who is building this business in a very special way. When I spoke to her, she's just about to start steps to present team member. So you want to hear how she's doing it tomorrow. So make sure you log in, and we'll be able to help your guests to be able to join, and then you can start building your future. So from me, Pascal and Betty, we want to thank you so much for being our guests today. Please share that information with your team, with the people that you are building, and we can assure you, you'll be able to see your business going on the right direction. So thank you so much. Have a good night, and see you soon. Bye-bye, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. Pascal,
Bye-bye.
good night.
Good night.
Thank you. Bye-bye.